Hello. Good afternoon. I was not running to get a hat.
He's really testing my patience this morning. Like, it's just ridiculous how much this man tests my patience. It smells like butt air down here. Mr. Moore. Happy Friday.
Yeah, my hair is really bad today.
We have a busy weekend ahead of us. So, for those who don't know, I'm an Etsy seller. Who would have thunk it? And I have a launch tomorrow. It's not a normal launch, so if you go to my Etsy shop, you're not going to find those products. We're doing a pre-launch in my Facebook group where my Key Club members will have an opportunity to grab some of my products a day early. So technically my launch is Sunday, but the pre-order will end up selling out pretty much all products. And I do that for viral scarcity. It gets people super excited to buy my products and do it in a time crunch. So we might do a little bit of recording tomorrow. I would like to do that if that's something that you guys are interested in.
We'll try.
We'll try. Launch days, as you guys probably know, are already very hectic. It's something that sounds like a good idea, but I don't want to promise it and end up not being able to deliver and then having you guys get your hopes up. But we're going to try to at least record a little bit of it. But on top of all of that, I still have a lot of listing photos to do. I still have to list products tonight. I still have to do my SEO. I don't invest a lot of time into my SEO for a pre-launch. The reason being is that my products don't need to be found in search. I'm sending customers directly to those listings to purchase, and they're not, needing to type in any keywords to find them. They're just going to see those products because they're being sent straight to them. But I'm still going to attempt to get some of my my SEO done, and then any products that are left over, I will polish up the SEO tomorrow night, and then those will release publicly on Sunday. So that's how I pre-launch. I do have an older video titled something, how to do a live launch, how to do a pre-launch. Yeah. It's from like 2 years ago. If you guys want to check that out, I kind of talk over my launch process. We're not going to be talking too much about that today though, because since I have so much work to do for this launch, I thought it would be cool for me to edit my photos for the launch live with you today, so you can see both how I edit my listing photos. You can kind of take a little sneak peek into some of my listing photos and what they look like, and you can see how I edit marketing photos. So that's what we're doing today. Mark is going to be taking care of the chat, reading you guys my questions, and we're going to screen share as I'm editing photos, which is something that I have never done live outside of Handmade Alpha Academy. I usually reserve these editing sessions for HAA students, which if you're interested in joining, Handmade Alpha Academy will be opening on December 1st. So that's something big that you can put on your calendars if you have been waiting for it. There's a waiting list link way down below. If you expand out the chat, you kind of got to scroll a little bit. But that will ensure that you get a notification when doors open. It does not obligate you to buy. However, it will ensure that you get a $1,000 enrollment discount. Also down below, we've got the links to my Black Friday survival guide, which you guys need to make sure that you're getting soon, because I believe it's like right at the beginning of November, we're going to start kicking in with the pre-marketing that you guys are going to be doing for Black Friday. So get that free PDF down below. And also my SSAR swipe files, which is another free PDF that contains copy and paste messages that you can send throughout the transaction process that a customer goes through. That way you can build great communication with that customer, encourage positive reviews, and encourage them to message you if they see a problem with their order rather than, leaving a bad review. So
don't bite.
And then one last thing. We're trying to do a 2 video per week plus Friday being upload schedule right now. So if you didn't see them, we've got 2 videos on the channel right now. Etsy is about to blow up. And the one that we released yesterday, which was Etsy's big policy update video. So make sure that you watch those. And then tomorrow we have a video publishing that is going to be an introductory video to Instagram and why it's a great marketing tool. So look out for that. It is coming. We have been very, very busy. And, man, should I tell them about the toolkit? I wasn't gonna, but
I don't care.
I'm creating the biggest freebie that I have ever created for alphas, just because this year has been really wonky, and I want to make sure that you guys are able to market for Black Friday like to the best of your abilities. So I spent like 8 hours editing photos for this toolkit. It's going to be something really cool. Not a lot of details on that yet because I'm still building it, and there might be more included in it than what I plan for right now. So that's coming soon.
You better touch this boy.
Hello, boy.
He is just fighting to get over to you.
All right. We got a couple, and then Bubba's answers questions. Are you able to automate the swipe files, or do you need to send them manually? You can save them into your Etsy snippets if you would like to do that. So
Mark, you got to learn the hyperlink. I don't know what you mean.
Hype lingo? Hype lingo? All right. How to photograph larger items. Take a few steps back.
Zoom out.
Zoom out. That's really hard to say. There's a million ways that you can photograph large items.
Are you using a phone? Are you using a camera? Are you using a DSLR? Like what are you using? Because that's really what's going to make the difference. If you need to take photos of bigger.
If you need to take photos of bigger products, you could stand on a ladder with a backdrop. You could hang the product up. You really just need to have a consistent background, and that's all that matters. You got to tell me a little bit more than that, though, because I'm not sure. Oh, I don't know. It's super valuable and secret. I don't know if they're ready for a toolkit yet. Are you guys glad that we don't talk like that? Like, I don't know. I don't know if you guys are ready for this.
I hate it.
I don't know. I'm not going to tell you anything at all. Here's the thing. If I'm teaching you guys how to do like scarcity marketing and teasing, I'm not going to use those tricks on you. I mean, I do sometimes because I have to sell my course in December, but I think that you guys know exactly what I'm doing it, so I'm not going to pretend that I'm not doing it. Let's share screen.
Doesn't fit thumbnail once cropped.
Then you're not cropping it correctly. Sandy, post in the Handmade Alpha Facebook community. I want to see the photo that you're talking about because I guarantee that there's a way to do it. Don't mind the litter robot tossing the turds.
You can also resize the image is another option.
We've got a litter robot that takes care of our kitty poops for us.
To the upper right corner we go.
Whee!
All right. We are there. Hello in the upper right corner of the screen.
So the program that I'm using today is a website called iPicky.com. Most of you are familiar, but if you are not, I have a training series on my channel that will teach you exactly how to use iPicky. So I'm not going to be going through every single photo and explaining exactly what I'm doing. I might do it with 1 or 2 photos, but hopefully you guys have seen my iPicky training series, and if not, you will watch it after we do this live stream, and then everything will be clear. So you can find that if you go to the playlist section of my channel, look for my photo editing series, and that will teach you how to edit photos on a light and a dark background. Do it. These are all the photos that I have to edit. We're going to go ahead and start big with our listing photos, but then I have these cool photos of my keys hanging on a tree in my yard, and these are the ones that we're going to add some cool effects to use for marketing photos, and I also upload these to my DeviantArt account. So let's start with a good old white background photo. I took these photos outdoors. I took them on a white poster board, and we actually recorded that. So we probably won't upload the video until well after these products have already launched, but we will have some videos that kind of give you a sneak peek into my launch process. Now, the first thing that I notice about this photo is that despite the fact I took it on a white background in a natural light setting, not in direct sunlight, never in direct sunlight.
Never.
Unless
you're like a pro with a DSLR that knows what they're doing, don't take photos in direct sunlight.
Yeah. What do you think about Canva? Canva's great. I don't use it for editing photos, though. I use it for adding graphics. I only use iPicky for editing. All right, so we're going to go in.
I will be right back.
And increase the highlights of our photo within our basic editing tab. This is going to help brighten the photo because ultimately what I want is a nice cohesive look to my shop so that all you have is a nice white background. Now, if I go ahead and pull up my Etsy, let's see, Etsy.com/art by Starla Moore for those who are new. Oh, and then of course I can't find it. /shop/art by Starla Moore. There we go. All of my photos have a similar white background, so I just want to make sure that everything is cohesive while editing all future photos. I've been doing my photos the same way for, I think, about 7 years now, so I don't want any crazy variations in there. Let's see. Do you store your photos on iPicky? No. Clear your photo photo storage on iPicky, otherwise it will begin to run slow. I'm really bad about remembering to do it, but I did it before I did this live stream today. So let's go ahead and apply this layer. This is looking pretty good. It looks like there's still a little bit of darkness down here. I usually like to do one more highlight, go into my my manual editor, which is this little brush. I will reverse the effect right here by clicking this. That will make it so that only my brush is in control of the effect. And then I like to go around the bottom and kind of touch up. Sorry guys, if you're asking questions, I'm not able to see those because Mark is supposed to be reading them and he left. All right, so next thing is, since I am photographing silver jewelry, you can kind of notice that because I took this outside and I have a big tree, there's almost like a yellowish hue from where the tree is reflecting. Do you keep the pebble really safe? I do keep the pebble really safe. Mr. Moore, it's really hard for me to read questions without you. Get your butt back here.
You talk so fast I ain't got no time to answer questions. My nose is running really bad. I'm sorry.
All right, we are going to turn our saturation down just a little bit. And the reason that I do this is because I want to get rid of some of these nasty yellowish colors that are reflected in my silver jewelry. But I don't want to turn it down all the way, because when we turn it down all the way, it is obvious, even if I were to add the color back into the stone, that this is a black and white photo. People can tell. So I only turn that saturation down enough to get rid of the really funky yellow colors, but we still see just a little bit of color in that metal. Then I need to click on my manual editor effects tab right here. Increase my brush hardness so I have a nice crisp brush. And then I'm going to dot in the color back into the stone after I have desaturated it. All right, and apply. Sorry if it looks like I'm like looking over.
And also, like, can I see that real quick?
Yeah.
Just a little pro tip with that saturation. When you were wanting to increase the saturation, I'll unapply this when you're done.
You can increase saturation.
No. That's not what I'm doing. If you're hard at seeing sometimes, and especially depending on. Of course, the moment I get on here, you got to kill yourself. And you have a hard time seeing what you're actually doing, you can, like, throw up
that. Yeah.
And when you throw the saturation all the way up, it'll darken it. And then you can kind of go in and go back and desaturate until you're comfortable. She already applied a saturation layer, so I'm not going to apply that. But
yeah.
And you can do that with most of the tools. If you're doing something that involves editing the color, you can crank one of the settings all the way up to kind of exacerbate what you're doing, and then be able to see it a little bit better, and then actually adjust it until it looks like what you want it to look like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just don't overdo it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Saturation, I like to increase it just a little bit because we tend to lose a lot of natural saturation while photographing. It's normal. Have you guys ever seen one of your products that looks bright and vibrant, and then you take a picture of it and then it looks like crap? That's just kind of what taking photos does. I see we got a couple questions if you want to hit those.
Yeah. The thing is, I can't scroll through questions while you're also editing photos. So, no, Canva was the last one to scroll all the way down. That's fine.
All right. I already did. Do you store your pics on iPicky?
Do you store your pics on iPicky? Is iPicky only good for editing jewelry, or can I edit? But you can edit anything.
Man, every single photo that you guys see, every thumbnail that you see on YouTube, every banner that you see of Starla and wolves, every single photo that you see me post, no matter where I post it, I've edited it in iPicky. I even have I used to do photography, fantasy photography, where I would edit people into cool scenes with like dragons and things. And I used iPicky. I've never owned Photoshop. I only use iPicky. iPicky. Everything. I love it. It's so easy to use. It is free. You don't have to install anything. You just go straight to the website. It has a little bit of photo storage so you can keep your pictures for a little while, though please don't rely on it because it slows down the tool incredibly bad.
Yeah, you should clear out your little cache of your photo library. I do it every two sets of photos, so every like 10 to 12 photos.
I do it like once every 6 months.
And then after like 3 keys that she edits, she complains that it's slow for like multiple days on end and refuses to just clear it out.
Well, I need them.
No, you don't.
There's things in there I need.
No, there isn't.
I don't want to get rid of them when I need them. I need them for stuff.
Better folder prioritization.
I need them for things.
Do you keep that Pebble really safe?
I keep my Pebble so safe. I brought this Pebble from California when we lived in base housing when Mark was in the Air Force. And we had a rock garden in front of our house. And I spent like so much time looking through every rock to find the perfect Pebble. And this was like, man, I think I started using this Pebble like 7 years ago. And I've used this Pebble ever since.
Make sure you don't do anything in the top right-hand corner of the screen.
Oh, well.
A couple times you have.
I don't care.
That's okay.
Sharpen. I like to go in and increase the clarity a bit because it makes that key look ever so sparkly. However, you don't want to completely jack it all the way up because then you get this.
Yeah, the big thing with clarity and sharpness, clarity is like a shadows slider. It increases the depth of black surfaces. You can also increase the sharpness if you have a lot of edges and you want your product to appear more sharp. Just be careful with it because sharpness itself will add grain. If you take it too high, it'll find all the little specks and things in your picture and it'll sharpen and exacerbate those dark edges.
Now, there is one little thing, and this photo is great how it is. Normally I wouldn't edit anymore, but I do want to show you before I get into my speed editing round. Can you see these little dots here? These are little dust particles that have landed on my crystal while photographing them. And I normally take a piece of buckskin out with me. That way I can polish off the stones before I photograph to avoid these little dust particles. But every once in a while I'll miss a couple or some will just float down and you can definitely see them. So what I'm going to do is use shine remover to get rid of the white spots and use blemish fixer to get rid of the dark spots within the skin editing tab. These are great if you're taking photos of yourself and you got a big old zit. Trust me, I've used this multiple times on my face, but you can also use it to get rid of blemishes on your product. If you create anything cloth, you can get rid of lint balls, fuzzies, any kind of little dirt particles. So there's the white one.
And some of these can seem like they are a bit drastic with how they look, but you just really got to consider how zoomed in on the picture this is. Once you actually zoom out and then imagine how small it's going to be once it's actually on somebody's thumbnail on Etsy, you can't tell.
And then we zoom out and that is perfecto. I love it. Now, one other little thing that we do sometimes, this photo looks pretty good, but for our jewelry makers out there, a really cool tool is this Eyes Bright, which is used to make eyes look super sparkly, but you can also use it on silver. You can use it on metal jewelry to really, really crisp it up. Now, like I said, this is a little intense for this particular key, but can you guys see how much crisper it makes?
I'm not sure if YouTube compression will allow them to be able to tell that little of a difference.
Man, I can see it.
Me too. Does iPicky have a keyboard shortcut for changing the brush size?
No, I don't
believe so. This is not this is not software. Normally you need something that interacts directly with software. This is still using Flash, right?
Yes, but for everybody who's freaking out, and you'll get a notification when you get on iPicky that says, oh, Flash is going away in December of 2020, yada yada, and then a bunch of people think that means they can't use iPicky. iPicky is switching to HTML5 at the end of the year, so nothing that you guys need to worry about. I don't know, I think that's that one's good to go. Nice soft
Oh,
shadows. Very crisp. Crystals look good, so we're going to go ahead and save this one. Make sure that you save when you have these 3 options. Save it to highest.
Save it to highest.
We'll go ahead and pop this into our edited keys. Obviously, I had to do a couple last night because there's no way I could have done them all with you. All right, time for speed round. Why don't you guys get some questions in?
Yeah, get some questions in. They don't necessarily have to be about photo editing. They can just be general Etsy questions.
Yeah, give us anything that you got, because right now this is my way of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm able to edit my photos.
That one's all sorts of yellow.
Yeah, it's that tree out front because the leaves are changing. Oh, that's not what I wanted. The leaves out front of the house are changing. We went out and raked the leaves last week, and then we woke up the morning after and it was just as bad, like if not worse. So
'tis the life.
we get those big, do you guys have those pumpkin bags for your leaves that you can decorate with them, but they're like pumpkin shaped and then you can put them out in the yard? We got a bunch of those and filled them up. Now we need more pumpkins.
I'd love to know how to get rid of yellow hues on, say, skin. You probably have to desaturate. That's probably the only way that you're going to be able to get away with that. What I would do, before you apply that, what I would do, and maybe we'll do a picture with somebody's hand, is with the saturation all the way up like this, you can see kind of how the picture is yellow. I'll kind of exaggerate that so it looks gold there real quick. Kill the saturation all the way down, and then go in with your pencil tool and actually put it in the areas that you want it to be in, and it'll slowly gray in if I actually go in and did I reverse this right? Yeah, reverse it. And assuming this was like somebody's hand, you can see how I'm taking all the color out of it. And obviously you wouldn't want to make it completely gray. Then you go back in and adjust your saturation until it's to the point that it still looks like a hand, still looks like skin or whatever it is that you're editing. But I exaggerate it really hard so you can get the fine lines.
I actually have a different
Go. That's just my method. That's how I do it.
yeah, I've got a different suggestion. If you go into the skin editor, a lot of the times, because Mark has seborrheic dermatitis, and sometimes when we take photos, he has really bad skin flares where he'll have big red spots on his skin. So a lot of times I'll go into the blush option right here and I'll just choose the skin color that I want. You can go through and select it, and then you can just draw over top of, your skin, and it'll kind of recolor it. So
yeah, the only thing with that is that if it's a really high resolution photo that's up close to the skin, to me it adds an artificial, like, feathery look to the skin. I don't particularly, like, takes away the pores. You know what I mean?
Women, I think that's a little different, because men have like that rugged, and I'm not trying to generalize here, but you know what I mean? Like, women, I feel like we're okay with having like that super soft, like almost Snapchat filter flawlessness. And I think that men, when you do that to a man's photo, a lot of the times it makes them look like they've got like that baby skin, and you lose that rugged for this type of man, at least.
Does Mark help edit photos for the shop?
Yeah.
For like the last 3 or 4 launches, I've done pretty much every photo. Not all of them, but 99% of the photos for the last few launches I've done all myself. Can you zoom up a little bit here? We're getting kind of more. Probably more. I don't know how many questions. Okay. How do you make sure the whites in your product aren't blown when you brighten the background?
That's all about how you've taken the photo. If you're noticing that it's completely blowing out the product, you probably just did it in a really bad light environment. Or if you're taking them outside, I just have days. And I'll show you a couple of the photos where I had that exact scenario happen. There are just some days where outside it just doesn't look the way that I want it to. The only
real way that you can get in with fixing that is if you're using a professional camera, or if you're using a phone that has a pro, quote-unquote pro mode, where you can actually adjust the ISO and the white balance and all that stuff. If it's incredibly bright outside, you can bring down your ISO, which will decrease the light sensitivity and make things a little less pop bright in your face. But then you're going to have to go in and adjust your white balance and all your other settings too to get the colors to balance back out right. So if you're in a crunch, learn some different DSLR techniques and how to actually adjust the settings. If not, wait for a different day.
Yeah, there's a lot of photos.
Or get yourself a light box and learn how to use that right. Sorry.
I can't see because the mic, and I just did all that, and yeah, thank you.
Thing is, now I can't read the comments.
I was gonna say, put it.
There's nowhere I can put this microphone that is going to be better than where it was. Sorry.
I can't see.
Look around it.
Hi guys.
There
we go.
Sorry for that rumbling. I'm sure you were just hearing.
Okay, there we go.
Do we argue like we're married? How do you use fade and blur, please?
Fade and blur. I don't know what you mean by fade. That's. I guess you. Let's start with blur. Blur. There's a tool called blur. You can blur it with the tool called blur, or you can use your effects mask, reverse the effect, and blur with a manual brush. Like this. This is great for teaser photos and things. And then you can adjust the strength of that blur just depending on how blurry you want it.
Or ugly people in the background.
Yeah, just like, oh, who's this person in my family photo? And then, let's see, fade. I'm not quite sure what you mean by fade. You could... This is going to take some opacity away from the photo, but that's going to make it somewhat transparent.
And then you got to stick it on a background to make it a not transparent photo.
You could increase your exposure and kind of fade it out a bit.
Depends on exactly what you mean by fade.
Yeah, not quite sure.
Resizing for shop sections can never get the images to look consistent between devices.
Shop sections? I'm not quite sure what you mean by shop sections. Do you mean like with these photos here? Like the featured items? These are shop sections. No photos for shop sections, so feel free to clarify in the comments.
What are good tips for crocheted stuff? There's nothing really specific for any particular brand that's gonna make a difference.
Get into iPicky and start playing around, guys. That's my biggest piece of advice.
We give you the general settings and the things that we use, and it's kind of up to you to play around with it and see what does what apart from what we're showing.
Right. We can't do like everybody sells something different, so we can't kind of break down like the best practices for every single product in the world. That would be impossible. But my biggest piece of advice is to get in and just start playing around with it. And that's how I learned everything that I've learned about iPicky, the speed that I'm able to edit photos like this. I've done it all just by playing with it for the last 7 or 8 years. And you definitely get better at it with time and practice. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of why I wanted to get on today and show you guys just what the possibilities are. And then, like I said, make sure that you check out my iPicky training series, because that's going to show you a lot of the actual click-by-click process. You can find that in the playlist section of my channel in the photo editing playlist.
How do you make sure your photos are the right size?
The right size.
What is the right size for a photo on Etsy?
You might have to Google that on your phone real quick. Yeah, I can't remember offhand.
I don't remember offhand. People will answer in the chat.
My photos are like the perfect size, but I also put and this is my default photos. I don't crop these at all.
I'm going to pull up the live stream on my phone because it's driving me nuts not being able to control the chat and monitor it.
I'm sorry. You can use the laptop.
Yeah, I would rather not.
Mine are, let's see, 4,000 by 3,000.
Which I can almost guarantee is not right.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not?
Because the standard resolution of a screen is 1920 by 1080.
Oh, well, that's my camera's.
The big thing that's going to matter is the aspect ratio, not necessarily the resolution. That's why you're able to put pictures that are way too big up on Etsy. Alright. Sorry, I had to turn my media volume down. Pulling up the live chat here. Sorry. Sharon said 1200 by 1200 pixels.
1200 by 1200, that would be a perfect square. And photos on Etsy are not perfect squares, they're rectangles. They did experiment with having perfect squares.
I hate perfect square pictures. Although it does make it easier for editing, because then you can literally just make sure your dimensions match and you have a perfect picture. Recommended size for listing images is 2000 pixels for the shortest side of the image and a resolution of 72 pixels per inch.
There you go.
No larger than... But that does not tell us what size. For the shortest side of the image. So it's something by 2000. So I imagine it's going to be probably 3000 by 2000.
I have never had to size my photos for...
The recommended size for a
Etsy.
shop icon is 500 by 500. Profile photos, 500 by 500. 170 by 100 for team logos. Order receipt, big shot banner, carousel banner, collage banner.
Let's just work on the questions. I don't care.
This is part of a question. I'm trying to get them the right answer. Don't you challenge me, woman. Etsy doesn't even say. They just says that it needs to be 2000 pixels for the shortest side and 72 ppi.
He said PP.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, guys. This is like what it's like to be launching on like a time crunch where you're tired. I was up all night. He was up all night editing a video that's releasing tomorrow. I was up all night editing photos for this launch and photos for a freebie that I'm working on for you guys. It's been crazy. All right.
Different Corner said playing Shadow of War and watching you guys. Perfect Friday night. Yeah, I'm playing that on PlayStation right now too. I know I should be playing it on my PC, but you know, life. Let's get to questions. Okay. Greetings from Puerto Rico. Do you take pictures with a professional camera or your cell phone?
I take photos. Let's see. I have a DSLR.
Let's say in between.
Yeah, I have a DSLR and I have a Nikon Coolpix L820. I love both cameras, but I use them for different reasons. The DSLR takes significantly better photos. However, it is not as good with up close photos. It is better for people. So I use that photo or that camera mainly for actual pictures of me.
Lifestyle stuff.
If I were wearing a product, I would use that camera. I use it for all of our Handmade Alpha photo shoots. But I use my Nikon Coolpix L820 for my key photos. So these were all taken with my Nikon Coolpix. And it is... How old is that camera?
Oh, God. We got that, like, when you started the business.
Yeah.
It's old. It's an old camera. The thing with the DSLR, and this is going to sound really weird, is that when taking pictures of these small keys, because they're intricate metal with a lot of curves, there's a lot of imperfections, it's kind of highlights those imperfections because it captures them so perfectly and so clearly that it makes it look bad. It makes it look way worse than an actual, like if you have it in front of you. So it's better for us to use the Nikon than the other camera because it doesn't quite blast out all of those little imperfections.
You guys ever use like a really great camera to take a photo of yourself, like to take a selfie, and then you see every pore and every blemish and you're just like, ugh.
It's too much. We bought too high quality of a camera for the type of products that we're photographing. And yeah, we could change the resolution and blur that out, but it's easier just to use a lower quality camera when we do that.
I think that these photos are great. They don't need to be that, because Etsy's going to rescale those photos anyway. Mm-hmm. So you don't need to worry about having an insanely good camera. You just want to have a relatively good camera. Usually a cell phone is good enough, but if you really want a great camera for up close shots, at least, I highly recommend that Nikon Coolpix L820.
You can, if you prefer using a high-resolution camera, you can use a cell phone, for instance. I know some of you guys follow me on Instagram at big_Mark
M.
big_Mark M. I have the Galaxy S20 Ultra. It's got a camera with a higher megapixel rating than most DSLR cameras have, and I can take... I'll actually be posting more photos here soon because I took some when we were out hiking that are just... I also took some videos, but then I realized my camera was set to 1080p. But yeah, you can use a phone if you want to. It's just make sure you've got a good enough phone that can do it and that you aren't applying any filters or anything that are going to make editing your photos hard. I would try to, if you have a pro mode, I would suggest using that. Or if you have a filter in particular that makes your products look good from the get-go, use that.
Absolutely. The less time that you got to spend doing what I'm doing right here, the better. I started editing my photos like this, though, so long ago. I just kind of have a flow, and it doesn't take us very long, as you've seen. So don't hop on iPicky for the first time and assume that you're going to be able to edit this quickly, because I don't want to see you guys get frustrated. It does take a little bit of time to learn.
Okay, Lou said, I understand I reset my ranking in SEO when I play with my tags, but does it mess with it if I change my price?
I don't think so. I don't think that price or photos have anything to do with your search ranking. It's going to be your tags, titles, and categories.
No, because Etsy by default doesn't have a system that auto-categorizes your product, so it wouldn't have a way to apply a price to a product category fairly. So I wouldn't worry too much about products or prices. Might help, Emmy said, it might help if you hold a piece of white paper as a reflector so you don't get the yellow reflection so much. Works really well with metallics. We would do that.
We do it sometimes.
The photos where we take them is directly underneath a tree, so from every single angle there is a reflection that's going to cause that gold. So we would have to have like a whole dome over it, which would block out the light.
I do have 2 poster boards for this exact reason, but it's usually just me taking photos because Mark's usually having to watch the kiddo while I'm outside doing it, and trying to take a photo like this with, it's kind of a pain in the butt. But I do it. I just didn't do it this time.
Aaron Walker, question. I got a custom request message the other day, and I noticed while reading her messages in Etsy that it showed that she was from Japan above our conversation. Is this normal or something new?
Oh, it shows her location above your convo? I think that might be something new, but I think that's really cool. It would be neat to know that a customer, that way you can kind of anticipate that international order before it comes in. So sounds new, but feel free to let us know in the chat, guys, if that's something that I've just missed. I haven't seen it in my Etsy shop. It's pretty cool.
Sally Abbott, what do you include in your Black Friday sale? If your collection sells out tomorrow, do you remake some of those items, or will it just be the base collection of items that sit in your shop year-round? Typically, we don't remake things to have the Black Friday sale, unless, like, the shop is completely empty.
It's usually just what I've made for my holiday collection, and then anything that is hanging out in my shop.
Yeah. We're not really worried about making a bunch of money on Black Friday from her shop at this point. We care more about making sure you guys are getting good content, so we probably won't do any sort of restocking unless, like, we're completely out in the shop.
But for you guys, absolutely. Restock the items restock the items that are in demand. The thing about our shop is that everything's going to sell out regardless, and then we're going to be back to zero and have to remake everything. And we're just not going to scramble to do that just to make those last minute Black Friday sales. But absolutely, if you're able to restock those high demand products, definitely do it. Keep some supplies on hand if you want to make sure that you have everything that you need to restock those products. Yeah, absolutely. There's no reason not to. You don't want to leave money on the table on the biggest shopping day of the year.
Savannah, do you have any tips for in-person marketing? I have a few vendor markets coming up where I sell primarily holiday-themed items, but I would love to direct them to my shop to see other items.
We've got a video talking about, I think it's called What to Bring to a Craft Fair, but it sounds more like you're trying to direct those individuals to your Etsy shop. I would offer a coupon at the craft fair. Get it printed out on whatever service you like, Vistaprint, Moo, an Etsy seller, find someone to print out a really cool coupon. One thing that I will say about craft fairs is that I usually encourage people to be friendly. Hey, hi, how you doing? Make eye contact, smile, but don't bombard them with questions or make them feel uncomfortable. I don't know about you guys, but when I go to a craft fair, I always hate, having someone who won't just let me look at their products because they want to talk, and
Yeah. Don't only engage if they appear like they're legitimately interested, and if they look like they're standoffish, obviously don't bug them. Let's see. I struggle with fitting my 2-foot wide signs into a thumbnail. What do you recommend for that?
Have you tried using mock-ups?
Yeah, mock-ups would be a good idea.
Cut your product out of the photo and make your own mock-up.
If you're having to take pictures far away because of how big they are, and you're having trouble getting them to be a higher quality picture, that might be a time when you have to upgrade the camera and get something that's more high resolution that can capture enough detail in a picture that's taken far enough away. Are you having trouble fitting it onto the screen? Is that the issue? Or are you just having trouble figuring out how to position the product to make it look good because it's big? What exactly is the problem? I'm not, texting. I'm actually looking for comments on here.
That guy was on his phone the whole time.
Oh, my God. There will be one. Even though we're calling it out now, someone's still going to do it.
Man, I got a comment yesterday on our newest video. Somebody's like, make sure that you're looking directly into the camera. I'm like...
Eat a butt.
I recorded 5 hours worth of videos.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
I'm not going to stare directly.
Quit complaining.
Not you guys.
Not you guys. Well, if you're here, if you're complaining at our videos, quit complaining.
You complainers, know who you are.
We're giving you advice for absolutely free. Quit complaining.
I'm in the middle of my biggest launch of the year, and I'm here hanging out with y'all.
I spent 8 hours editing a video yesterday. Don't complain. I don't want to hear it.
For you guys.
For you.
For you. Because we love you.
I like using Lightroom because you can copy settings and apply multiple photos at the same time. That's dope. Check your local library. They might have a free Medi A room with studio photo room. Yeah, that's true.
I ain't going nowhere. Not till this coronavirus is gone.
Oh, Sharon said, I've seen it under hue and saturation and wondered about it. That's blur. Kathy, I sell jewelry as well as beaded pens. Some pens are white. Should I take the pic on a white or gray dark background? We recommend a white background, but that doesn't necessarily mean that every photo needs to be on a white background. Pick what looks best for the product and is consistent with your branding.
I say white or light. Just because I use white does not mean that you guys need to use white, but I would go light because Etsy prefers light, Amazon prefers light, Google Ads prefer light.
If you have a white pen, don't put it on a white background. Put it on a gray background. If you're gonna, this is more personal preference, but if you're gonna go with gray, I prefer a distress gray than a flat gray because flat gray kind of looks unnatural.
Like ashwood.
Yeah, like ashwood. Something that's got a blend of different grays, blacks, and whites. That's still mostly gray. And that, especially if your pens are very white, like they're solid white across, that's gonna really make that pop in the picture.
Do you guys like my collection so far? I haven't launched anything in a long time because I had supplier. Aw. I had supplier delays. Let me know what you think of my collection. I'm super excited to launch it tomorrow.
Sharon said, you just edited a blue crystal key on a hand that turned off the yellow hue on the skin. That's what I'd like to learn, but slower demo. All she did was turn down the saturation for the entire image.
Yeah, I just turned down the saturation.
Yep. Just turn down the saturation until the product looks the way that you want it to look and that the hand looks normal. If you have to continue turning the saturation down once you're to a point where the product starts to look unnatural in the photo, then the lighting is bad to begin with. So you're going to have to go in with the actual pen tool and desaturate the person and kind of cut them out using the hand tool.
And you guys, I don't know if you've noticed this, but I'm doing my highlights in layers. I don't just highlight all the way. I add one little highlight and then I apply it and then I go in and I add another highlight and then I use my manual brush to apply it. That way I can get around the product without, washing it out.
Yeah, if you do it too much, it kills the contrast real bad. Tinfoil Hatter. I meant correct sizing for our about sections. Do you guys know a magic trick to have the image tool the same across the board, maybe?
Dan, I had the exact same issue when I was doing mine. I'll be honest, what I did was I went directly to my about section and I took a screenshot of this exact photo size, how it's scaled, and then I used that screenshot to see what the size of the photo is within the screenshot. And then I made all of my photos based on that screenshot. So
we had a lot of different comments on the correct sizes for product photos. Sally said 5x4. Emmy said 5x4 if you want it to be not cropped. Patty said 4,000 by 3,000, not squares. 4x3 for main photo. How do you get 3 variations on your listing?
You get 2 variations, and then you get 1 variation where they can type in, and it's called personalization. So, for example, let me find one that includes personalization. This one? No. This one. Yes. So, for this one, my customers can choose the stone that goes on the bronze dragon. They can choose the stone that goes on the gold dragon. And then we have add your personalization, where they can enter one of these options, and it never fails. They enter like their name or something because they think I'm going to engrave it and they don't read the directions. But add a personalization will give you a 3rd variation option. Just make sure that you're very detailed about what you want them to do, because people assume that personalization means you're going to like put their name on it. People still do that even though my directions are very clear.
Why was your key so gold looking? Just crappy lighting.
Bad lighting. The tree above me, when I'm taking my photos out on my front porch, it's starting to change colors. So in the summer, those look green. And in the fall, they look yellow.
Do you use your phone for the pictures? Nope, already answered that. Coolpix L820.
Yep, Nikon Coolpix L820 for these photos. DSLR for any of the alpha photos that you see. And sometimes our cell phones, which are... What's my phone?
S20 Plus? Because I've got the Ultra.
Yeah.
Yours is the S20 Plus.
But I only use that for alpha photos and for Instagram photos. So if you follow me on Instagram, I've got, let's see, my personal account for the alphas is Starla K Moore. Anytime I'm working on something free, you guys can kind of see what I'm doing there. And I tease a lot of my launch processes for my keys there. And then my actual Etsy shop's Instagram, which is significantly less active, is Art by Starla Moore. So follow me at Starla K, letter K, Moore, and Art by Starla Moore. And if you want to follow Mark, he's getting active on Instagram for the first time in about 5 years.
Yep, most of my photos are from over 5 years ago. It's Instagram at big_Mark M.
And that's because he used to be a bodybuilder, not because he has
an actual bodybuilder, not just a dude that lifts weights. My coach was Mr. Olympia.
There's proof on the Instagram.
There's actual proof. I used to be pretty big. Anyway, yeah. What was I gonna say? Just hold on a sec. I had a point that I was trying to make about something with this, and I can't remember, and it's gone.
We were too busy talking about how you were.
No, you were just too busy continually talking.
You were a real bodybuilder. Not one of those fake ones. I was a real one.
Dan said, Mark, PS5 or Xbox Series X? PC 2. No. PC, all the way. 100% PC. Would be even more PC if the 3000 series GPUs didn't sell out. I stayed up all night. I literally stayed up all night to buy them, and they sold out within 5 seconds of them releasing because botters and scammers. Thanks, y'all.
As if there was ever a botter or scammer in our chat.
I know, right? Never know. There might be one of them out there that turns themselves into the police for being a gigantic piece of crap.
We see you, scammers.
Can you edit multiple photos at once in iPicky? No.
Oh, man. Can you imagine doing multiple photos at once like how I'm doing them right here? That would be atrocious. I don't think that would be possible.
Can you imagine hundreds of hours you could save if you'd only found a gray pebble? I told her the same thing, and the funny thing is she could probably just boil it and turn it gray.
It is gray.
It's brown.
It's gray.
It is 100% brown.
It's gray. It just looks brown in pictures.
It's brown.
I'm going to bring my pebble on next week, and you guys can talk to him. And
They don't want to see your pebble.
They want to see my pebble. Let me know. Everybody put
Don't, no.
hashtag pebble.
Okay, hashtag pebble.
Hashtag pebble. Put hashtag pebble in the chat. Hashtag pebble.
How do you manage to jump from a dark pic straight to a light bright one? Brightness. Exposure.
Exposure? Highlights.
She just did just there.
Highlights.
Highlights. Highlights, boy.
Highlights.
How do you get an object to float in the photo instead of on the surface? Remove the background.
You mean like cutting out the background or float? What do you mean? Do you mean having a little bit of a shadow? Just don't take out the exposure enough that the shadow disappears.
Heath.
If you mean erasing the background, go into the erase background tool, and then you can get right up on your product and cut it out, and then you can apply it to any background you want. But that takes forever. I know that because I'm working on a freebie for you guys, and I don't want to cut out my keys too.
Boop, 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 boop,
Man,
boop.
wait until you guys see this freebie. You're going to freak. It is like the highest quality. I could sell it for so much money, and I'm sitting here every day working on it for hours a day thinking about the fact that I could sell it. And then I'm like, no, they need this.
Lou said, I've had customer location for a while. It's great as it shows the time in their time zone, which helps with replying.
Oh.
I've seen location, but only for some, as you have the option to turn it off.
Makes sense.
Hello, I just joined. What is the best camera to buy as a beginner? There's no real good answer to that question. We use a Nikon Coolpix L820 for product photography. If you require something higher resolution, an entry-level DSLR somewhere in the $500 to $1,000 price range.
Don't go cheap if you're getting a DSLR, though. If
It's
you
not
wanna,
worth it.
If you want to go cheap, get a point and click. That Nikon Coolpix L820 is fantastic for up-close shots, but it takes pretty good lifestyle shots as well.
Kathy said, I always say your house, your rules, your videos, so they don't have to watch. That's true, but we have to grow our audience in order to be able to make content that's worthwhile for everybody.
Yeah.
So we have to do some things. Are we going to be talking about the After Dark program at the end?
Yeah, I think we have decided that we're going to do Alphas After Dark, but we'll talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, if you guys are interested in Alphas After Dark, make sure you stick around. We'll talk about what our plan kind of is towards the end.
And if you don't know what that is, boy, oh boy, you're in for a surprise, maybe an unsettling surprise. We're very nervous about it, not because we're not super excited to do it. We're just a little nervous, but we're sure that you guys will be respectful and responsible.
Random, but I signed up for a few of your PDFs. Now I'm getting emails twice. If I unsubscribe to one, will let me know I won't get all of your emails. I wouldn't directly unsubscribe. Shoot us an email, starla@handmadealphaacademy.com, and I'll double check and see why that's happening.
If you're a Handmade Alpha Academy student, who is it?
It's me, Teresa Marie. That one.
Oh,
I can tell
okay.
that you don't know. So just
a heads up, Handmade Alpha Academy students, please don't sign up for freebies. You guys get them all in the resources guide. If you sign up for them, you will end up getting Handmade Alpha Academy emails and things that are not relevant to you, including like notices when Handmade Alpha Academy opens, which you're already in Handmade Alpha Academy. So you don't need that. Yeah, check the resources guide and the bonus as well if you ever end up wanting one of the freebies that I'm offering.
Yeah. If you unsubscribe from one of our email lists, that means I can no longer re-add you if it was an accident. And I also can't, if you re-sign up to one of our other lists, I can't move you back into a list that you've unsubscribed from. So if you unsubscribe from our list and you sign up for like the Black Friday stuff or whatever, I can't move you from that list into the master list. You are forever out of our master list.
Which means when HAA opens, when we have new videos,
you won't get the links to get to the discounts and stuff like that. So Just be aware. Don't unsubscribe. If you legit don't like something that we're doing, like there's a real reason why you don't like our content, let us know, and we'll take a look at it. We take everything into consideration when we send emails, when we make videos. We try to take everything that we can into consideration. So.
And we're not perfect, guys. I'm tired as all get out here, sitting here editing photos, but I love you guys. I want you to be able to ask questions every single week. The only week that we're not going to be doing a live stream is on, let's see, October is the 16th. I think it's the 15th is the day of the Friday Bean, right? October 15th or 16th?
I can't remember.
One of those days. Mine and Mark's 10-year wedding anniversary is October 16th, and we're running away to some mountains somewhere. And we're not telling you where, but we're running away. But we'll be back, and I do have something kind of planned for that day where we would normally have the Friday Bean.
Crappy Crafter said, it's good to be back. I missed you guys so much. Welcome back.
Where have you been?
Where have you been?
Where have you been? Where have you been?
How many takes do you do during the photo shoot per photo?
Usually 3. I do 3 shots, and then I delete the ones that aren't like up to par. But usually 3 per image. And I highly recommend doing more because it's easier to take more photos than you need than to go back out and retake photos. Something might look great on your camera screen, and then you get it in to edit it, and it's super blurry. We did that the other day. Mark and I did a photo shoot with each other, and he took a bunch of photos of me trying to jump up in the air, and like one of them wasn't blurry. But they look great on the camera.
Should I change the thank you for your order note I put in my orders if the name of the buyer is different than the name on the shipping label, assuming it's a gift and that person didn't purchase it?
You can. To be honest, I don't, but you totally can. That's kind of a preference thing and how much time you invest in it. I haven't been using my swipe files as of lately just because we've been so incredibly busy, and it's one more thing that I've had to keep track of. But I can recall a time when I have done both, just depending on how much time I had to do it. So, yeah. Either way, it's totally up to you.
Sharon said, I use... hold on. I use iPicky all the time, but I've never used layers. I'll have to go back to your tutorials, Starla. Yeah, you know what else has layers? Onions.
Ogres. Cakes. Everybody loves cakes. Cakes have layers.
Oh, man. My allergies are awful today, guys. I'm sorry. Maybe you guys could use some Photoshop actions that could retouch multiple photos automatically. Yes, we could, but we use this program for people that are kind of struggling.
That's why, yeah, and here's the thing. I started using iPicky because we were in a position at one point when I first started my Etsy shop where we couldn't afford Photoshop. Can we afford Photoshop now? Absolutely. But I really love iPicky. There's a lot of things that I like to do that I know are exclusive to iPicky. It really doesn't take me a lot of time to edit my photos, and everything looks really nice and cohesive. So someday, maybe, but I really like to stay up to on iPicky so I can help those who were in a similar situation that I was in.
Valerie said, hey guys, I'm not sure if this has been asked, but what's going to happen to iPicky once Flash isn't supported anymore? They are switching to HTML5.
Yep. So it ain't going nowhere.
Crappy Crafter said PC Master Race. That's right. What's your favorite PC game? Witcher 3, for sure, and hopefully Cyberpunk 2077 next month. And any gamers out there, check out Star Wars Squadrons. It is the Star Wars space battle game that we got, but we definitely didn't deserve because it's wonderful. You shush. I've been editing videos every day. I'm allowed to be a nerd. Show us your pebs. We'll throw you beads like Mardi Gras.
Show us your pebs?
You're gonna have to show up to Alpha's After Dark for that.
No. No.
No.
That's not what, though, you know.
They'll probably see some.
Well, if
not just not ours.
Yeah, I was going to say, if we're doing... So basically, for those who aren't aware, Alphas After Dark, we've got a lot of alphas who are in the 18-plus industry, who sell, you know, products in that 18-plus category, and it makes it really hard for them to ask questions and be able to get good marketing tips and advice when we can't really talk about 18 plus content on our normal channel because most of you have kids hanging around. So we're going to be doing a closed live stream that will be private that you have to have an invitation to, called Alphas After Dark, where even if you don't sell 18 plus products, but you want to hang out and, you know.
If you got 18 plus questions. I've had a couple of emails from people that were providing ideas for this because we've been kind of brainstorming on this for a couple months now, that they had questions about their relationships and stuff when it comes to running a business that it would be good for possibly people to be involved in. Just know that if you come to this, it will be not safe for work, and it will be not safe for kids, period. So no commenting on there that your kid saw an inappropriate picture of an adult toy or something
right, because
like it will not be safe for work, and we will not accommodate it to you.
Right, because we do have to help those sellers who sell things like, you know, adult toys and things. We have to make sure that we're able to go to their listings, put their listings on screen and look at them to do listing critiques and things. There are no other channels who do anything like this.
No, we want to be able to help the people that aren't getting any help.
Right, it's going to be funny. We're going to have fun with it, but it's not a joke. We are doing it very seriously because these are Etsy sellers who deserve to have businesses that are successful, you know, just like a jewelry seller would.
And they will not be public videos. The only way you will be able to get to these videos is in the emails that we send for these videos. They will be private on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because we don't want somebody accidentally stumbling on there and clicking to a random point in a video and just a big old thing popping up on the screen and just trust us. Open the emails. We will have a special email list just for that video series. We don't know how long they're going to be. We don't know what day we're going to do them on, but it's probably going to be Saturdays because, you know, people we're going to have set up and have drinks and stuff like that. But enough of that. Just keep an eye out, keep an ear out.
It's coming later in October.
It's coming later in October, probably after our anniversary, and we'll probably start the email list maybe next week. Well, we don't know yet. The email list will be coming soon. Just look out for that and sign up for it if you're interested in that. You do not have to be 18 plus to join. Anybody can join, just it's not for your kids.
No, you need to be 18 to join the list. You do not have to be an 18 plus category seller.
And 18 plus to join the list if you're in the United States. If your country has a restriction on adult material for people that are older than 18, you will need to be whatever age is applicable for your country. Because there are countries where like 21 and 25.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's a default MailChimp thing that you're supposed to be a certain age to join email lists anyway. Because we can't have data of anybody under 18.
Right. Bring the pebble.
Pebble, pebble, pebble.
Answering your earlier question to me about fitting signs, I'm trying to fit them into the thumbnail. I do have a DSLR. So yeah, it's just going to be one of those things where you're going to have to take a picture far enough back and zoom in on the picture enough to get it into the frame. I know that might be kind of difficult. Again, post in the Handmade Alpha page.
Facebook community?
Yeah, in the Facebook community. Unless you're a student, and then post in the campus page.
Is it Sandy? I don't think Sandy's a student.
Tina Truitt?
Tina?
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to lose track. There's 500 HAA students now.
Well, we got a lot in here now.
We love you guys. Let us know in the comments if HAA is super duper awesome.
The day with Etsy policy changes. Yep, we did a video on the Etsy policy changes. That's up now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is one of our most viral videos ever. Because
go check it out if you haven't seen it, though. There's 137 people in here. I'm imagining most of you have probably seen it already. That video blew up.
Man, we're the only people talking about this. There's a huge Etsy change coming on October 16th, which is mine and Mark's anniversary. But there is no one talking about it. And Etsy has made it impossible to find the policy changes. I had to rely on Etsy forums just to be able to find other people who had sorted out what exactly had changed. Pain in the butt. Biggest pain in the butt ever. But hopefully I caught everything. But if not, I'll make an update video. So make sure that you're subscribed. Yeah.
Dan was talking about the After Dark thing. We probably won't be doing any guests for that, just because we can't. There's going to be screen. There's going to be screen share and stuff a lot of the time because we're going to be showing off people's products and potentially editing adult products or something. We don't know exactly what this is going to entail yet, but we have no control over what somebody on the other side of the screen does, and if somebody accidentally pops something up or shows something that YouTube doesn't like, because we do still have to follow YouTube regulations. We can't have any like nude pictures or anything like that. Products are one thing, but actual people are another one. So that's like when we do screen share, we're gonna have to be super careful that we pull things up where it's not gonna pop up on screen first and then pull them on screen, because we don't need no big jubies ruining our YouTube and getting us banned.
Don't get us wrong. We love big jubies, but we don't want them. We don't want them to ruin our
YouTube.
So this key, real quick, I wanted to point out, my little girl, who's 8 years old, designed this key, and we have produced a bunch of them because I posted a photo of her key in my key club, and everyone wanted one. So now one of my daughter's designs will be launching on Saturday. Isn't that cute?
Yes. Marcus. Oh, sorry I skipped your question. There's a lot of stuff on the screen, and I'm reading it from my phone and trying to keep up with what she's doing here. What is your setup here to be able to show you guys plus the computer screen? So I use Wirecast to stream to YouTube. And Wirecast has a program called Remote Desktop Presenter that connects computers via IP address. You can do it, I think, from anywhere. I don't think it even has to be a local IP. And then I just have different panels set up with the different things and I stream.
And our monitor, how big is my monitor?
She's got a 21 by 9, 3440 by 1440 monitor.
Massive.
And it's ultra wide. And I have her on like 75% of the screen, and I just stretched it. The video's outputting at 1080p, so it's pretty easy to do. But yeah, if you're interested in streaming on YouTube, Wirecast, I do recommend it. Although it is a pain in the absolute butt to work with if you don't know what you're doing, just because menus are all over the place. Yeah, it's great. If you have any specific questions and you're interested in streaming, you can also shoot me an email. I don't know how long it'll take me to get back to you, but you can shoot me an email and I'll shoot you what I know. Hi, Picky Sort of Glitchy.
Tell them an email address?
Starla at handmadealphaacademy.com.
There you go.
I have said it like 4 times already in the video.
Hi,
Picky is sort of glitchy these days. Is there a provider or something it may fix in the future when it changes from Flash? It'll be HTML5 if it's running glitchy for you. Try clearing your photo library and your temporary folder files on your computer.
Yeah, that's why I can guarantee that's why it's glitchy, because it does it to me too.
If you're on Windows, I don't know for Mac because Apple is a trash company. So for Windows, Windows key in R, %, temp, TEMP, %, enter, delete everything in that folder, approve all the stuff that it does, and then skip everything it won't let you delete. And that should take care of you. Sorry if that was super confusing. Maybe I'll do a basic tech series in the future.
Do you realize that's the first YouTube video that I ever made with you, was how to do that?
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Way back, like 3 or 4 years ago. Do you realize that we bought my dream car, the Dodge Challenger,
2 years ago today? I know you posted the picture this morning.
2 years ago today. I love that car more than any other physical possession that I own. I hand wash that car frequently. I spend all my time with that car. I love that car. That is my only big girl like item that belongs to me, and I love it.
Krabby Crafter said Keanu Reeves. Yes, I know. Did you see the most recent ad with Keanu Reeves in it? It was a super short ad, but like it was really well done. Luminaria, when I said float in an image, I'm talking about when someone is jumping, like people do sometimes on Instagram, kind of, sort of. You mean like... Did you already send out the one with us in the coffee cup, or was that for a YouTube video?
That's the thumbnail for today.
Yeah, the thumbnail for the video today, not the live stream, but...
You know what? I wish... How can I pull up a folder without them seeing everything in it? Because I have the freebies in it. If I drag it over here, they won't be able to see it, right?
Yeah, as long as it's within this area.
I just don't want them to see any of the freebies that I worked on, because they don't get to see those yet. Let me see. I'm assuming that you mean... Like this?
Like that?
Like Mark jumping? Is this what you guys mean? This right here? Is this it? Oh, wait. Close out of
There
there.
you go. I don't know what you just did, but your computer did not like it.
You know, I didn't do any marketing photos yet, so I'm going to move on to marketing photos after I'm done with this so I can show them how to do that. I didn't realize how late it was. Time is flying.
Yeah, we got stuff to do.
No kidding. I'll do marketing photos next, guys, I promise. I thought that it was like...
Oh, like jumping
12:30.
and when you're in the air and floating in a photo and the person or object next to you is still on the ground. Yeah. Just 2 separate photos.
Yep.
Big old thing popping up. That's right. Everybody likes that.
Big old thing popping up. Nobody wants a big old thing on their screen.
Is there a chance to change something like shipping for all items in the shop at the same time, or do I have to click each item separately?
I believe that Get Vela, does Get Vela allow you guys to do that? I don't use it, so I'm not sure. But does Get Vela allow you to change shipping? I know that you can change things like, I know that you can bulk edit your listings. Let me know in the comments, guys. But you might want to look into Get Vela, because I think that they do that. I just don't use it.
Starla, what do you use for bookkeeping? Her husband.
Mr. Moore. We are old school. We do have a fantastic accountant, but we usually only talk to her around tax time or if we have a specific question. Bookkeeping, we're kind of pen and paper type people. We're not big on accounting software, and I know that that sounds absolutely ridiculous since we run both the Alphas and Art by Starla Moore, but we've got a decent system.
Mm-hmm.
All of our accountant friends are probably like, no, don't use pen and paper.
Alicia said, HA is so good. I've doubled my business since implementing Starla strategies. I'm hoping to keep that ball rolling. Keep it rolling, girl.
Keep it rolling.
How do you get an email list started in your shop if you're a new shop owner?
Do you mean getting it started, like making one, or getting it off the ground and getting people to actually sign up for it? Once you get your email list set up, I recommend MailChimp for setting it up. No, I will not make MailChimp videos on it because we covered that in Handmade Alpha Academy. There's a lot of legal things that go along with setting up a mailing list. I'm not comfortable with creating that content publicly because I don't want anybody getting mad at me if they do it wrong and they get themselves in trouble. So that content is exclusive to Handmade Alpha Academy, which is opening on December 1st for enrollment. However, MailChimp has a lot of great videos, help pages. They literally walk you through the process. If you look, just Google what you want to do and they'll help you. But once you get it set up and you get your EEP sign up URL, you can put that in your listings, you can put it in your listing photos, you can put it in your shop announcement, and you can even include it in your SSAR swipe files, which are free, linked down below. As long as it is connected to a transaction in your shop and you're not directing that person off of Etsy to shop by sending them a link to your website, you're allowed to send them your EEP URL. So the photo that I'm going to be working on next, I'm going to be creating a marketing photo. This one might be a little hard to keep up with, but I hope that you guys, can kind of understand what I'm doing here.
Jenny said, that was a great video. Happy anniversary, you guys. My hubby and I are celebrating our 10-year anniversary on 10/10. Just a few days before us. Congratulations.
October is the best month for anniversaries. I love October. It's the best month, period. It's my favorite month.
I use Streamlabs for streaming. Streamlabs is good. I started with Wirecast because that's like when you see big TV show concerts. So I think even the New Year's celebration, Wirecast is what big organizations use. So I figured if it was trustworthy enough for huge organizations that... And Wirecast has hardware you can buy too, where you can hook like tons and tons and tons of different sources in. Obviously, we don't have a use for that. I just bought it for the reliability of it. And it is reliable. Most of the time that when we have an issue, it's a hardware-related issue, or most of the time it's a YouTube-related issue. Because YouTube is trash for some reason. Janelle said, I had a detonator yellow Dodge Challenger. I loved it. I miss it so much. What happened to it?
You
Did it detonate?
You didn't wreck it, did you? We have a Destroyer Gray.
Love it.
RT plus shaker.
Yes.
And it is... If you guys go to my Instagram name is Starla, the letter K, more. And you guys can see a picture. I just posted it today for her 2-year birthday.
And anyone in the stream or in the future watching this, know there is no necessity to get a higher model than that. Almost 500 wheel horsepower is plenty.
Unless you're showing it,
Even showing it, shows make your car sit still.
Oh, you telling me if someone offered you a Hellcat or a Demon or
I
a
would
Red Eye,
take
you
it.
wouldn't take it?
Absolutely, I would take it, but I'm not going to pay freaking $70,000 to $90,000 for it. That's ridiculous. You can buy a house for that much money.
That's true. We were very thrifty with our Dodge, and
I mean, it's expensive, but like it's our one expensive car, and we take it to shows when we go and do live audience stuff.
Right.
Like it's an image thing. We want you guys to see that like you can be successful doing what we're doing.
and that's our one car. Like we do have a very old, I say very old, it's a 2011 Kia Soul that we've taken across the country 3 times, so it's like on its last legs. Poor Kia Soul. R.I.P.
Jacqueline said, same here, I use pen and paper also. Thanks for answering my question. I mean, pen and paper is just... I'm the one that does the taxes at the end of the year. Her only responsibility tax-wise is sending me numbers.
Yep.
I add everything up, categorize everything, and make sure that all my tax lady has to do is enter the numbers on the screen. So, we do it my way.
Yep. I'm fine with that.
Aaron Walker, question, is there a way to bring a layer to the front? I keep trying to bring in an image and it will show up on the left side, but when I drag it to the right side, it disappears into the right side. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So,
go into your layers tab.
Do you mean... Let me grab...
Just slap it. It doesn't even matter. Just slap a random.
I want to grab one that has a little bit of contrast to it. Do you mean, like, for example, if I hate this. If I try to flip this image over... Oh, now it's not going to do it.
No, I think she's just saying when she drags it onto the screen, it's not in the correct order.
You can, right here, send backwards, send forwards. You can right-click, send to back, send to front, bring backwards, bring forward. Is that what you mean? A lot of times when you flip your images around or when you change the sizes of them, for some reason, iPicky will throw them all over the place. I don't know why it does that.
Because it's Flash, and Flash is old.
Right, it's going obsolete. All right, I want to show you guys something real quick. We'll go ahead and stop for comments, but you can keep looking for them. I want to show you how to create an effects layer for one of your photos. I recommend using pixabay.com. This is a great place to find free stock images. What I'm thinking is I want to add some stars and like a galaxy feel to this particular key. So I'm going to go into Pixabay and type in Galaxy. Let me try to find... I kind of want one with like some pink color. This one's okay. These are free downloads, so you can just download it the size that you want. I am not a robot. Download. There's that. Then I'm going to go right here into our textures tab. You have a lot of different choices here, but I don't like any of them, so I'm going to upload my own texture. Let me grab the galaxy that we just selected, and it is going to add this texture right on top of our photo. Now, space. What I recommend is going through the blend modes and finding the one that looks the best, depending on your product. I think this one looks pretty good. Then if you don't want any of the effect on your product, you can go in with a manual brush. I'm going to erase the stars off of the product. Does that look nice, guys? And you can add as many layers like this onto a photo as you want. I highly recommend Pixabay, because they have more graphic type backgrounds. I recommend searching things and then texture, like stone texture, star texture, yada yada. You can usually find some cool things.
Aaron said I tried that and it still disappears when I take it to the right side. I'm going to keep playing around with it. Make sure your Flash is updated to the most recent version too. I know that sounds weird because Flash is getting ready to go away, but if your Flash is like hecka old and it's not compatible with the most recent version, that might alone be what's causing the issue. Again, clear your cache, like I talked about earlier in the video. Do whatever you can to speed it up, and that should help.
Any other questions?
If not, use a different browser. Could be the browser you're using. It's an extension that you have. It's hard to tell.
That looks pretty nice.
I open an image as the background when I'm trying to add another image on top that background was erased from. The background was erased from. Okay.
I would almost need to see examples. It's hard for me to be able to read a comment and know what you guys are asking sometimes.
Luminaria, should I put one listing of one item per listing, or do multiple listings for multiple quantities of that same item, or just do one of each product? I also do made to order.
If the items are identical, it should be one listing. Don't make a bunch of listings for identical product. If the products have different variations, go back on my YouTube channel to the video we did, I think 3 weeks ago, called Reel In Etsy Customers, or something like that. There's a thumbnail of me fishing on the front of it. Watch that video, because we talk about this exact topic for over an hour. I think that would be exactly what you need.
Let's see. I have a 2016 black Ford Fusion. It's my baby. I love my car. Like Starla loves her Charger. It's Challenger. Big difference. Janelle said, my husband made a lot of cool mods on it. Lots of carbon fiber work, exhaust intake, engine mods. I tried to do her exhaust, but she doesn't want it because it's already so loud.
It is so loud. I don't want my car.
She won't let me do it. I just want to do a muffler delete. That's all that car needs is a muffler delete, and it would be perfect. She won't let me do it.
Nope. I don't want it any louder than it is. We live in an elderly neighborhood. It's not common.
That model of car will literally throw flames with just a muffler delete, and she won't let me do it.
I don't want it. I don't want it to.
I can already make it bang every once in a while.
I don't want it to throw flames.
It should. Let's see.
It's a beautiful vehicle. It doesn't need anything else.
Hamza said, when doing tags, would you go for exact match or to have a variety of them all between?
Both. You pick one good exact match that accurately describes your product. Your exact match term should be the most important term that you would like to rank for. Obviously, my exact match term is skeleton key necklace. But then those broad match terms, it really doesn't matter because within your tag section, Etsy is going to mix those and match them and create, different keyword phrases. So the order of those won't matter much. And you can still rank for those terms. So if you can get a couple exact matches, that's great, but I would aim for at least one really great exact match. Like I said, for me, it's skeleton key necklace because it accurately depicts exactly what I sell. And then try to get a couple broad matches in there as well.
Do you mind doing that again, saying each step with the galaxy thing? We won't do that. If it was too fast for you, I would go back and rewatch it.
I'm about to do another one.
That's fine. Regardless, going back through, if you need to watch something on YouTube, if it's too fast for you and you can't quite follow it, there is an option on the bottom where you can actually select the speed of the video and slow it down. That way it's a little easier for you to see and to follow. You can set the speed of the video.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll let you do that until the video is rendered, though. You might have to wait till after the live stream is done.
Yeah, I don't think you can slow it down or speed it up until... Well, obviously you can't speed it up because you can't make us talk any faster. Though I'm sure some of the meanie butts in the replay...
Oh, yeah, there's you guys chatter too much. Meh. Yeah, we're making fun of you. Because I don't need you.
This person, she watched our channel like 3 times and left a bunch of negative comments, and I'm like,
you talk too much on your Q&As that are literally about talking.
Like, what do you want us to do? What are we here for? Why are you watching us if you don't want to hear us talk? That is literally what we are here for.
If you just want content, watch our videos. If you want to listen to us talk while we also give you content, Friday Beans. If you don't like that...
We're spicy today because we're tired and cranky.
Oh my god, I'm so tired and cranky. I've spent 2 days in a row. I've been editing videos for like 5 to 10 hours.
For you guys, though, because we love you.
I'm cranky.
All right,
and I'm almost 30.
Let's do pink stars. Oh, that's not what I want. Let's do, this one's actually neat. Let's just try stars.
Jeannie said, oops, sorry, I meant Challenger. I'm sure you did.
Let's try this one. Free download. I'm not a robot. Okay, so download the photo that you want from pixabay.com. Then, while in iPicky, go into this one that looks like a fingerprint called Textures. Select your own texture. Upload texture. From there, you'll get one of your file windows. You guys can't see mine because I don't want you to see all of the cool things that I'm working on right now. But just select whatever photo that you downloaded from Pixabay. It will automatically apply to your photo. From there, go into your blend mode and go through the different blend modes to find the one that you think looks the best. So I'm going to make sure that that's turned the correct way. And then you can just kind of scroll through.
Hamza replied, said, so you won't repeat too many times the necklace on the tags, right? Yeah, so don't repeat words.
No, you don't need to repeat the same keyword over and over again. In fact, that is a big waste of keyword space. And for those who don't know already, I do work for eRank. I am their head of marketing and PR, but I do not get paid to recommend the tool. I've been using it far longer than I've actually worked for them. Me and Anthony Wolf just became really great friends. So I highly recommend using eRank, though, to check those keywords. And then you can also use the rank checker rank checker tool to see where you would land organically in search if that person had no past search history or personalization. It's a really useful way to just kind of see the quality of your SEO. And no, you're not going to be able to go to Etsy and search those keywords and see yourself pop up on that page. But if the rank checker is telling you that you would land on page 1 organically without a search history, then it's a good indication that your SEO is good. So,
yes. Search history, demographics, location, all those things affect how search results show up on a website that uses those metrics.
Yeah, and I
know that's difficult to comprehend for some people, but
yeah,
just trust us when we say it.
Man, we even tried to use a VPN to see if we could replicate it, and
the thing is, using a VPN, and that's one thing that all the smarty mouths that think they know what they're doing like to challenge it with. Well, when I use a VPN, I still don't show up on page 1. It's because you're having demographics based on the IP address for the country that you selected. The thing is from one town to another, from one state to another, the things that people search change. So if one particular style of product is popular in one area, that result is going to be more likely to show up at the top than if you search in a different area. So using a VPN, all that does... My kid is downstairs. I can hear her. What do you need, sweetheart?
There's a piece of paper at the front door.
Okay, we'll deal with it after we're done.
Don't worry about it, baby girl.
Location makes a difference. So a VPN is not going to help you for any of the smarty mouth big heads out there that think they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, it's one of those things where there are a lot of people who are just they think they know because it's like they're trying to do this anecdotal thing, but that's not how it works. There are so many factors, both known and unknown, when it comes to Etsy.
But there aren't any factors that are known or unknown when it comes to deep learning and internet technology. All of that information is publicly available. And when we can see it happening, there is no question into how things work. So, anyway, enough of that. Margot, does placing a watermark on Etsy picture or sale sticker make it appear less in search and Etsy won't ever select it for Etsy pics? I know Google filters those watermark images.
A lot of my photos have watermarks. You still get seen in advertising for them. You can see where I've kind of experimented with both. Some of my photos have watermarks, some of them don't. I haven't really noticed a difference as long as you keep it subtle and in a corner. But The thing is, people can edit watermarks out. So if you're doing it to protect your products, unless you're selling something that's like a digital download or a digital file, I wouldn't put a big watermark over your product. They're easy to edit out.
I really enjoy the chatting. It's like having a conversation with you guys. Exactly. We're all starved for social interaction because as long as you're one of the people that's following the rules, we're not really around other people we can talk to. So, what other live stream that gets 150 to 250 people has people actually reading most of the comments that come in?
Right.
It usually doesn't happen.
And
I'm actually interacting with you guys.
Answering your questions. We know that this is a really stressful time of year, and it's about to get even worse as we get closer to Black Friday. So we want to make sure that we're here every week, other than our anniversary. We deserve that. We want to be here every week until Black Friday to make sure that you guys are ready, even on the weeks when we're freaking tired. Like this week where we're
exhausted.
Man, we edited all night last night, and we're going to be editing all night tonight, and I still have to do all of my SEO for this launch and prep my launch for tomorrow.
And then we have the launch tomorrow, that's not really going to take up all that much time. And then after that launch, I'm not working again until Monday, so don't expect a response anywhere. My eyeballs are bugging out of my head, and I still have to edit all day today.
We love you guys.
We do. We legit do. We do this for you guys. We love you guys.
We love you guys.
I haven't been able to use iPicky for the last month. It keeps telling me that I need Flash, but I have it, and when I re-add it, it doesn't take. What browser are you using, Jan?
Have you tried clearing?
Because some browsers have already, kicked support for Flash. If you're using Chrome, it should be working just fine. If not, you might have to uninstall and reinstall Chrome.
Have you tried clearing your cache and cookies?
That wouldn't clear a compatibility issue. Hamza, yes, I have E-Rank Pro, but I was going on my tags to all exact matches. Big mistakes then, long weekend. Yep, that's how it be.
Make sure that you guys don't change all of your SEO at once. I think that I've said that quite a few times, but never go in and change all of your keywords at once. Ooh, this might be cool. You can completely jack up your stuff by doing that. It's like having a table with 4 legs and you pull one leg out from under it. If you're going to make SEO changes, make sure that you're doing those months before an expected holiday. Or it's like, I learned the hard way when I was a kid. You don't go get your hair cut right before prom. You don't make big changes right before the date that you need them because, you never know if you're going to need to fix them. Ooh, I don't like this as much as I thought I was going to.
Luminaria said, is your Challenger convertible? No, I hate convertible Challengers. I don't even think the newer ones are convertible capable, are they?
Not the 2021, no. I don't think the 2020 had a convertible.
I don't even think our year had a convertible.
I'm not sure if ours is a 2018, right?
Yeah, 2018. RT plus shaker. I love it. It's fun. What color is it? It is Destroyer Gray. It's not quite matte, not quite gloss. It's kind of similar to how they do candy paint jobs, but gray. Let's see. Margot. I have multiple watermarks all over my pictures. China and other sellers are stealing them all the time. Just wondering if I put it on just my first images, but all the others will have those. Thing is, nothing's going to stop those Chinese sellers from stealing your products. If they want them bad enough, they'll take the watermarks off. It's pretty easy to remove a watermark. Excuse me.
I can remove a watermark in seconds.
And realistically, how much of a competition are these Chinese companies to you? Are they selling them on Etsy? Or are they selling them on other websites? Because if they're selling them on other websites, it's moot to try to fight it because they're not a competition to you. They're not on Etsy. They're not competing with you. If you're selling on your own website, that's a little bit different. But they're not going to take traffic away from your Etsy shop because if they're searching for this stuff on Etsy, their website isn't going to pop up. So
yeah, the thing is, it's like I get how freaking frustrating it is. I've had people
it's terrible.
People steal my images all the time, and they don't credit me. I find my pictures floating around. I see people directly recreating my products. But the thing is, I don't stress about it. Just because it's always going to happen, and nobody is going to be able to reproduce a Starla more original, and that's kind of how I've positioned myself. And
it's different when you're digital, though.
Yeah, I get that.
It's an ethics issue. When you have a bunch of different countries that have different ethics in how they handle things, there's a reason why products from certain companies earn a reputation for being good or for bad, which is why a lot of products coming out of China have a very bad reputation for being crap or mass-produced junk that never looks the way that it is. It's because it's an ethics issue. You're not going to ever get rid of the Chinese stealing your pictures. And it's not just Chinese companies that do it. There are a lot of different companies. It's a big problem with Indian companies and with Pakistani companies, and there are places all over the world that do this kind of stuff, and it's an ethics issue. It's how they handle business, just like how American-made things tend to be higher quality, but that's not always necessarily true. It's an ethics thing. So, using watermarks isn't going to fight that, especially if they really want your products, because they can just steal them. Or they can just buy them. If you're selling digital, they can just buy them and then throw them up, if they're really making money off of the product, which is also a possibility. Jan said, I'm using Chrome. I'll try to uninstall and reinstall. I have Photoshop, but I like iPicky more. That's weird. Most people that have Photoshop usually... I guess it depends on how well you know how to use Photoshop. Photoshop can do more, but it's way more complicated and way less user-friendly.
This is the first live stream where I've just, like, not been a big talker. Like, Mark's doing most of the talking today.
I'm sorry.
No,
She's concentrated on editing the photos.
No, I'm all for it. I'm noticing that I'm not speaking very well today. Do you guys ever have days where you just can't talk very well? I do that when I'm, like, relatively anxious. I have trouble talking, and my words don't come out the way that I want them to.
I missed the chat. Who had a challenger? I do. We
do. We do.
Who was it? Jenny? No. I'm freaking lost. Vesper Martini, though. I like that name. Is that a Bond reference? I think that's James Bond, right? I'm coming from Photoshop, but this looks much easier. It is easier. It's mostly just a convenience thing. If you're really good at Photoshop and you have all your hotkeys memorized, it's probably more beneficial. I am considering doing a small Photoshop like how-to for alpha students in HAA. No promises on that, just because I haven't actually used Photoshop since high school. So
I told him that has to be all him, though, because I've already been like, I will never use Photoshop.
Yeah, it'll be a bonus. It'll probably be like a couple of 10, maybe 2 or 3 10-minute long videos on how to just the basics.
If you guys want, if HAA students want it.
There's already so many frickin' Photoshop tutorials out there. I understand it's a pain in the butt when we tell you to go watch somebody else's tutorial, because there's not always a tutorial for exactly what we do as an industry, so it can be beneficial if we make it. Question, what percentage of traffic do you get from your social media against Etsy? I actually don't know. It's not much for us.
Social media, I normally send people directly from my Facebook group, so it's not usually random stragglers. It's people who I've already built a good reputation for. Offhand, I'm not sure. I would say that it's pretty evenly spread between SEO and organic traffic, social media, and my email list.
Christina said, I used DOS computers in high school, 1980s. I was using DOS computers in elementary school. We still had those old crappy plain black and green text screens. I remember those things. Running a program was a nightmare. Back when you had the like computer specialist at the school that knew less about computers than the kids.
Oh man.
I loved those, especially going into high school when they were still using like early Windows builds. Let's see. Jan Castor, I would love a Photoshop how-to. I may do one, but it's only going to be an HAA if you're an HAA student. I know that sounds crappy, but it's going to take a lot of time, and I'm going to probably have to spend money taking courses myself to figure things out, because I want to give you guys the best information possible. So, sorry for that.
One of our many perks of becoming a Handmade Alpha Academy student is we do all kinds of cool videos and things. We haven't had a HAA update in a while, but I've got a couple in mind that I want to work on. before enrollment opens in December.
Margot, or Luminaria said, my mom had a 2018 Chrysler 300. She crashed into her garage one day through brand new. Oof.
Big oof.
Big oof. Margot said, okay, thank you for your answers. I have a temptation to hire a Fiverr guy who promises to rank you on page 1 with tons of great reviews.
Nobody knows your industry like you do.
Yeah, no. It might work.
Well,
might be great. Might also ruin your shop.
They're probably using black hat techniques, which can get you...
Not on Etsy. You can't really black hat Etsy because you don't have access to the back end. You have to have access to a back end to use black hat tactics. You can only black hat your own website. I started with iPicky, then moved to GIMP, like the full leather latex suits.
I've had a lot of people say that they...
Then Photopia. I still go back to it today, but as a paid graphics package, Affinity is amazing. Jan said I'm an HA student. Then you're good. Sorry, again, we have like over 500 students now, so it's hard to keep up with who is and who isn't.
I mainly remember the names of the students who are like in the group all the time, posting very frequently. I can usually remember you guys. So get active in the group.
Is price a ranking factor on Etsy? We already kind of answered this. Directly, no.
Yeah, people can filter within their like actual Etsy filter section. They can filter by price, I believe, but it's not an actual ranking factor.
No, it is not. It might be the deciding factor into whether or not somebody purchases your product.
But that's a customer factor.
That's a customer factor, and you have zero control over that. So, yeah, we're out of questions so far.
All right.
We're almost 45 minutes over. We love you guys, I think. Finish up this photo and be done.
Did you guys enjoy this session? I know that it was kind of weird. I hope that it didn't come off as lame.
It's kind of chatty.
Yeah, I just, I had a lot of work to do today, and I wanted you guys to be able to see a little bit of this process and maybe be able to kind of study what I'm doing. So if you enjoyed it, let us know. If you didn't enjoy us, feel free to let us know. We'll never do one like this again. Our other option was to just not do the Friday bean at all this week. So let us know what you thought, and maybe next time we do a launch, we'll do another one of these. I enjoyed it. I got to get my work done, got to hang out, got my launch tomorrow. We've got a new video posting tomorrow on Instagrannies, Instagram for Grandma. It's going to be kind of like this video is more about the demographics and why you should use Instagram for marketing, and I'm thinking about doing a whole series.
I'm not a student, can't afford it, but I appreciate the free videos and PDFs you provide. That's why we still do it. We've got to be able to provide you guys the free content. We can't charge for everything. That just wouldn't be fair. We want to be able to give you guys at least the ability to get an upper hand without having to pay for it.
Absolutely.
Which hopefully shows how honest we are when it comes to things, and our students will
attest
to it. Yeah, they'll vouch for us because we're not salesy. As a matter of fact, we go against most sales techniques that the majority of other coaches use because we don't like it. So we love you guys. Thanks so much. This was fun to watch and listen to. We like you guys. Yes, I always play your videos in Friday Beans. Thank you. Hamza said, guys, you've answered in 5 minutes questions that I've had for a long time and couldn't find the answers to. Well, then you know what that means. That means you should subscribe. Click that little bell icon to make sure you get notified when we upload videos and when we go live, because we do go live almost every Friday of every week.
Go ahead and zip our screen so it's just us now.
Oh, I can do that.
Did you guys enjoy this? I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know, like I said, it was kind of a weird stream.
Hey, I'm a granny. We know.
We love our grannies.
We love our grannies.
I loved I loved doing this series because the way that I did it in my brain when I started recording the first video, I imagined that I was like explaining it. Like, how would I explain this to my grandma? How would I explain to her, what Instagram is and the benefits of using it? So that's kind of where we went with it. I think that the theme of the videos is going to be Instagrannies, and I'm going to do like just different, social media for grandmas. Because
why not?
Why not?
If you're offended by that, screw off. We don't care.
Yeah, that was when Mark was Mark was worried. He's like, people might get offended by the Insta grannies, and I'm like, my granny just passed away, and I love my granny very much, and she was my granny. That's what we called her. Her name was Granny, and I think that it is perfectly fine. And if anybody's offended that I used grannies,
because here's the deal: when we talk about age in our videos, here's where we're going to get the bad comments. When we talk about age in videos, we are talking about generalities. We are talking about usually factual information backed up by statistics. If you are outside of that demographic, that's fine, but generalities are generalities. They can be whatever they are. You can't argue a statistic. You can't argue a fact. So if I say that people over 45 know less about technology than people under 45, that is a factual statement, but that doesn't mean that you know less, right? That means that most. Okay, I'm done. I'm never going to talk about that again because it drives me freaking nuts how many times we get bad comments about people whining and complaining, I'm over this age or I'm under this age, and we don't care. That's fine. You're the special one.
We had a really great episode of when we did Friday Q&A, and I had to delete it because we brought up it's when you were born, you have to think about where technology was and how fast it grew. And when us being 90s babies, were born in the 90s when technology was starting to move at lightning speed. So we grew up in a era where technology was moving insanely fast. And our daughter, who is 8 years old, is grasping technology faster than we do.
Faster than she does.
Well, yeah.
Because I still am just using everything.
She can navigate a tablet faster than I can.
Yep.
Because she was raised with tablets, and I was not raised with tablets. And Mark and I, were raised from, little children on computers when many people were not raised.
I tested it with Taylor when she was a baby. When did she get her first tablet?
2.
2? I handed it to her. Didn't show her how to do anything other than to turn it on. She had it figured out by the end of the day by herself.
Yeah.
Little brains that grow up with technology are going to be smarter than bigger brains who didn't grow up with it. That's just how the human brains work.
Not smarter.
Better,
more equipped to handle the piece of technology.
It's not an intelligence issue. It is a adaptability issue. There you go.
Yeah.
It takes people who didn't grow up with technology longer to begin to understand the concepts of how things operate.
And there's things like that for us. We don't understand TikTok. I don't.
Just like most people in our generation don't know how to drive a manual car, but you do.
Exactly. I have no idea how to drive a manual car.
We can do it, but it takes longer for people to figure out that are younger because they've never done it. Same concept.
Have you ever seen a millennial try to use a rotary phone? That's the funniest thing ever. Just Google that if you want to laugh. God. I can use a rotary phone because my grandma had one, but there was one where the girl was like trying to jam her fingers into the holes for the rotary. She's just like, ah.
Even I know how to use a rotary. Come on.
It's hilarious.
Let's see here.
In short, we're all good at different things, and I know that it's one of the most frequent things that we get in our inboxes. I am this old, and this app confuses me. I'm this old, and social media confuses me. So that's why we're doing it.
Yep. Best for Martini. I grew up when man first went to the moon. It's been a wild ride ever since. That's the thing you got to understand is it Moore's Law? It's
our law.
Every time there is an increase in technology, there is an exponential increase to the acceleration at which technology is developed. So every time technology gets better faster. And there is an endpoint, but we're not there yet. So you think of like when mainstream computers started entering homes in the 90s, when people started to get internet at home, from like 1995, 96 was when I think computers really start to explode and you see internet usage across the country. That's 24 years ago. So in 24 years, we've gone from people just getting internet as a normal
to VR chat rooms.
To VR chat rooms with haptic feedback suits where you can hug someone that's not in front of you. So just understand that if you're struggling with technology, you're not alone. There's a lot of people out there. But if you're good with technology, it's because you've paid attention.
You've adapted very quickly.
You've adapted quickly because that's the thing. If you're someone in your 60s who didn't think technology was really going to blow up when you were in your late 30s, early 40s, you're at a significant disadvantage. Wonderful little stuff. Mark's adorable when he goes full on nerd. I know. I'm always adorable.
He's adorable, but don't be mean to my hubby in the comments.
I don't really care if they
Reply
are.
People makes me sad. And
That's the thing, but that's why I'm here. If you're an HAA student, if you are an older person that struggles with technology,
That's why we're
as long as
here.
you're willing to listen, that's the thing that drives me nuts with people. As long as you're willing to listen and you're willing to take advice, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, we don't like it when we often have people who will message us or send us an email and they'll ask us for advice and we'll tell them what to do and then they won't do it and then they'll message us and say, well, I didn't do that. I didn't want to do that and I'm still not seeing results.
Vesper Martini, listen and learn. Yes, it doesn't matter how smart you are. You always can learn someone from... Everyone has something they can teach you.
You can always learn someone from it.
Yes! Oh my god, I'm on a tangent here. There's always something that someone can teach you no matter how smart you think you are. And no matter
Absolutely.
age is irrelevant when it comes to pretty much anything. So just don't worry about it. If I'm younger than you, I can still teach you things. If you're older than me, you can probably still teach me things.
There is something to learn from everybody. Even if it's someone that you hate, you can probably pick one golden nugget that you can learn from them. The worst person in the world, you could learn one thing from them, even if it's what not to do. You know, I'm not telling you to go watch I don't know, Hitler documentary and say that you learned something positive, but you might have learned how to not be a good person. Right.
Well, I mean, he also started the first literacy program in the entirety of the world and the anti-animal abuse programs. He was the first person to start both of those things. So there's always something you can learn even from the worst of people.
Not that we support
No,
Hitler.
that's awful.
My family actually moved. Here's a fun fact for you guys before we hop off for the day. My family moved from Germany right when Hitler was coming into power, and my grandparents moved to Chicago where they started working for Al Capone, and they cooked the dinner that was served before the St. Valentine's Day Massacre because they came to the United States to start a bar business, and when Prohibition, came into play, they weren't able to do that, and that made them very, very upset. So,
all right. Well, we've rambled for last 10 minutes. We'll let you guys go. Remember,
links down below.
Links are down below. If you're not subscribed already, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I think I already went through this spiel, so I'll save it. Subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, comment down below. Links are down below. Have a fun weekend. Have some drinks. Don't let anybody tell you can't do what you want to do. Stay safe and drink some water.
And my launch is Saturday. So if you're in the Key Club, you're free to watch. Please don't post anything business related. Please don't post marketing questions.
I'll ban you from the chat.
Yeah, because we are selling to a live audience, some of which don't know that I'm a marketing coach. Not that that's a secret I want to keep, but it'll confuse them. So
and make sure that you're around for next Friday's Friday Bean, because it will probably be the last one for a week because we have our anniversary. Next week we will have a Friday Bean, probably, as long as neither of us gets sick. The 9th. 16th, there will not be a Friday Bean, and there probably won't be any content until the following week.
I should be posting something on that Friday, though.
She won't tell me what.
I won't tell them what. You guys will see it. All right, guys. Have an amazing weekend. We love you, and stay safe, and take a little bit of time to yourself.
Have some fun this weekend.
Have some fun.
Bye-bye.
Bye.